knows. You're not telling me that this guy isn't saying similar things, probably worse, when he's alone with other officers. You know he is. So if he's dirty, then other officers are dirty. I think that there should be an investigation into every single traffic stop that this officer has ever been involved in. Have you ever noticed that they rarely do that? There needs to be an investigation into each and every traffic stop, each and every interaction that those officers that commit those kind of offenses have ever done while on the force. Because something tells me that you're probably going to find a couple of people that have been brutalized by this officer, but either they let it go or they got pressured to let it go because they were threatened with some jail time. I bet you can't listen. I bet there are so many untold stories of police brutality because people feel like, well, I don't want to make it worse for myself, or I'm going to cop this plea and get the hell out of here, or they don't feel like it's going to do anything, whatever, or they just don't want to go back and deal with the cops. So these are not the first times that these situations have happened. So here's another example. Ray Tinson. The man is set to go on trial this fall for killing Sam Dubose, whose mother I just saw and heard just yesterday over at Washington Park. Beautiful black woman who's now grieving. Once again, grieving. Black people grieving in the media. Here we go again. It was sad. And as I'm standing there, it's almost like an out-of-body experience because it keeps happening. I remember the mother of Trayvon Martin, the mother of Tamir Rice, the mother of Michael Gardner's children, the mother and father of Michael Brown, the mother of Timothy Thomas. I mean, I could go on and on here, on and on and on. The father of the man who was killed in Beaver Creek, whose last name escapes me at this particular moment. I mean, this is pretty sad. And here we go, another grieving mother who says all she wants is justice. As I understand it, the family took a multi-million-dollar payout from the University of Cincinnati. I personally believe that it's not enough. I don't know how. It seems like the life of a black man at the hands of law enforcement is somewhere between $4 and $6 million. Okay, that's what it seems like all over the country. And I'd like to know who negotiates this. I thought it was unfair because the lawyers come in and they taking as much, it seems like, as the rest of the family are. In terms of individual contributions, they're taking home a bigger share than anybody else is individually. And they're lawyers. So just a very, very sad situation. As I understand, there were no arrests. Absolutely not one person was arrested at the Black Lives Matter protest. Or, public demonstration yesterday. Not one. What does that say? It says that after what has happened in the last week, that people are coming with a different spirit. That people are coming with a different spirit. That people are like, listen, let's come up with some real solutions. And I'm here to tell you there's a lot of good, concerned, intelligent people with connections and resources inside the city of Cincinnati. They care and love Cincinnati, and they're trying to do what they can do. What I would say is let's identify those individuals and make sure they have the proper resources, and let's build upon what they've already started. Sometimes people in this city want to recreate the wheel. Like everybody wants to start a nonprofit. And I've run into people who are doing the exact same nonprofit. Hey, Nate, I'm working with kids. That's a beautiful thing, but what would happen if you join forces? But that's the way some folks saw it in this region. I get it. I don't hate anybody. Brian writes, is it just me or is the media only talking about the arrest at the protest and security measures being taken? Only the negative. LMBO. They will also have you believe that Black Lives Matter is only supported by black people. Have they not watched their own footage? Blacks, whites, Asians, rich, poor, the UK, etc. People support hashtag Black Lives Matter. I'm just saying. I've seen it myself. I have been to several now Black Lives Matter demonstrations. I've put feet in the streets in the city of Cincinnati. And I've seen it myself. I've been in the middle of the crowd. I've been there by myself. I've been there with my daughter with my child and had to explain to her what was going on. People wilding out, people angry, people shouting, people being emotional. She's right there, okay? And I want her to understand, there's a full rainbow of things that it means to be a black person in the United States, to be a U.S. citizen, period. And Professor Griff better watch it. That's all I can say. That man is strange. I don't know, man. When I hear Professor Griff talking about who's a homosexual in Hollywood, I think to myself, who the hell cares? Although I'm not saying that man doesn't have some great flows on some topics, but when I heard him talking about Will Smith being gay many years ago and who's gay, I'm like, this is what you're doing now, Professor Griff? Okay. Wanda writes, good morning. Ed writes, I already read that. Kiki writes, John Crawford. Thank you very much. That's right, John Crawford. John Crawford Sr., John Crawford III. Very sad. Kiramia writes, I feel every police officer need daily drug tested and a monthly psychological evaluation. Well, hey, John, or anybody who's in law enforcement, how often are you drug tested? Are you drug tested monthly? They may already be drug tested monthly. Please tell us. I am with you. I think that whenever an officer is involved with something like that, the first thing that should be done is a drug test. And I'm talking about a hair sample. I'm talking about blood sample. Okay, all the drug tests. That's what should be done. To at the very least exclude what people might say, it could be. Okay, so this, in some ways, this might even protect the officer. Okay, this is how you spin it. This protects the officer. Because one of the number one things that people are going to say is, was he on something? Okay, well now, because this is part of our mandatory routine, okay, we already know. Boom, this officer was not on drugs. Oh, we know this officer was on drugs. So now we know drugs were a factor in it. And as we move forward, whether it goes to the courts or whatever, then people can make an accurate decision on accurate information. I'm all with that. I'm all with it. What else here? That's a good point. She says psychological evaluations. Yeah, I would say so as well. And the reason why is I would imagine, depending where you work, that's a heavy burden to deal with, being an officer. And I think that there's some people with certain personalities that probably are more of a natural fit for being a police officer than probably others. And you've got that kind of personality where you got the will for it, but you don't got the personality for it. That could be huge on who you are. Let's say if you work in a neighborhood where you are dealing with the worst of the worst, you're dealing with these ghetto-ass M.O.s, you're dealing with these niggas, you know what I'm talking about. Don't act like they don't exist. You're dealing with people that do anything for a little bit of nothing. You're dealing with people who are selling their bodies. You're dealing with people that murder people for drugs, will lie and do whatever can. I mean, it's some folks that's like that. Okay? Let's not act like they're not out there. But if you were dealing with that element on a regular basis, don't you think that would change you? Don't you think that may change who you are, how you interact with people, how you view black people? Is that fair? Is that fair? I want to switch gears here. I want to add one thing. I've been remiss in my duties. I was going to bring this up back on Thursday, then again on Friday, but again, we had other more important matters. But the more I think about it, we need to discuss this. I am switching gears here. The Nathan Ivey Show, switching gears. Good morning. Currently 7:58 a.m. I want to bring up something different. And I'm going to post a link here. You may or may not find this interesting, but I'm getting into it either way. If you'd like to continue the conversation about what we were previously discussing, yeah, the door is open. Azalea Banks. Azalea Banks has made a lot of news. She gets a lot of clicks in the last few years because she calls people out. And she's one of those people that'll call people out on Twitter. And because she's got some fame, because she's got, thousands of Twitter followers, like, it's actually made news. Like, I've seen some of her antics and some of her adventures being reported about on some of the biggest online news sources, if you want to call them gossip sources, you know it, okay? And she's known for calling people out on their blackness. Like, she called out she called out numerous rappers on their blackness. She'll check you in a second on your blackness. Okay, this is Azalea Banks. And she's called out some so-called big names. Like she called out Miley Cyrus for her cultural appropriation. Because, Miley went from, Hannah Montana to rocking Jordans and all this nonsense, right? And, it was a hot track. Rocking with Juicy J. Juicy J was happy as hell. Wait. Hannah Montana want to do a song with me, Juicy J? Something like that. Well, now Azalea Banks, and she's decent. I think she's even posed nude in Playboy. I think she has, but who's checking for Playboy these days? Nobody. And I think that, and I've thought this for some time, she's 25 years old, but I thought either she's a very shrewd businesswoman who is using this controversy to draw attention to herself, which is the name of the game, or something's wrong with baby girl. I don't know. Now I'm leaning towards something's wrong with baby girl. Because now Azalea Banks, and again, this woman who has called out other people for appropriating blackness, she's called out black folks for acting too soft. She called out Kendrick Lamar because Kendrick Lamar basically was like, well, Ferguson was wrong. What about the looters? She called him out like, this buster, what about the looters? What about what happened to Michael Brown? Like, she set the record straight. Give her props for that. But now she is admitting to bleaching her skin bleaching. And this is yet another example that we are living in the last days of common sense, my friends. When you got a person, and I would say that's kind of like Black Twitter, you got a person, Azalea Banks, who's made a name out of calling out people on their blackness, defending blackness, and now you are bleaching your skin? Oh, no, really? I'm sorry, but nothing says, I don't like myself like somebody who's bleaching their skin. Show me a black person that's bleaching their skin, and I am immediately going to judge them. Okay, I'm being straight honest with you. I'm going to judge them. You don't like yourself. You don't like yourself? Mommy and daddy didn't teach you to like yourself? You got low self-esteem? What the hell? And rightly so, people online, on Twitter, on Facebook called her out like, wait a minute. Apparently, she's using the skin cream. It's Whitenicious. Have you heard about this? Whitenicious. White, then Nicious. Whitenicious. Have you known anyone who uses this? I'm on their website now. It's being promoted as a luxury skincare line. And they're promising you endless radiance. Endless radiance? Yeah, maybe you can't get endless radiance. Whitenicious. And apparently it is helping her to lighten her skin. Now, let me be honest here. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. As the king of straight talk and the king of flow, I keep it real with you. I keep it straight with you. That's how I feel about it. There may be someone in the audience, and maybe you have experimented with skin lightening or brightening your skin. Could you please share why? Apparently, she likened it to getting a nose job or a weave. Quote, to say that skin bleaching negates what I've been saying about blackness in America is ignorant and just stupid. Nobody was upset when I was wearing 30-inch weaves, tearing out my edges and doing all kind of ish like that. You guys loved it. But what is the difference? So are you telling me, Azalea Banks, that you don't know the difference between, I don't know, wearing hair extensions and then bleaching your skin? Let me tell you the difference. The difference is the degree to which you are trying to stop being black. See, it's one thing to put a wig on. It's one thing you want to rock the blonde hair. They get you some blonde edges, okay? To some people, that might be a little bit extreme. You might be going too far. But it's not as extreme as permanently